Hi, my name is V. N. Alok and this session is on federalism. In this session, we will be discussing what, why and how of federalisms. So what is federalisms? How you define the term federalisms? Some people say that it's a division of powers. It's partially correct. Some people say it's the decentralization of powers, but that can happen also in the unity form of government. Somebody says it's a constitutionally assigned powers, partially correct. So how you define the term federalisms? To me, it's a method by which the power is divided between the two or more orders of government so that within a sphere they remain autonomous and at the same time they cooperate. So as you could see from these definitions, the word cooperations is inbuilt into the definition of federalisms. And it would be a fine blend between the autonomy and cooperations. It can't be 100% autonomy, it can't be 100% dependency in the form of federalisms. The term cooperative federalism was used about 100 years ago there in US. The idea there was to expect the state government to cooperate more with the federal government. This term was used there in Germany also. The idea here in India, what the prime ministers used, was expecting the central government or the union government to cooperate more with the state governments. Now we talk about why federalisms. Through federalisms, we accommodate many linguistic, religious and ethnic minorities. The national minorities could be the regional majorities. The administration is generally responsive to the regional governments more compared to the national governments because of the continuous demand that keeps coming. The good practices that has been tried out at the regional levels can be tried in other regions also. So these are some of the reasons why we go for a federal form of government. For example, if you tax more on alcohol in the state of Goa in India, the people will be very, very concerned about that. But if you do the same in the adjoining state, that is Gujarat, there may not be any voice from the people because that was the state of Gandhi. So how federalism is so important? 40% of the world populations are covered under federal form of government. 28 countries are adopting this form of governments. In fact, all large countries except China are federal countries. Even smaller countries have adopted this form of governments. This has been tried out as a solution in a post-conflict situations, for example, in Sudan, in Iraq, in Nepal, or in Sri Lanka. There are two processes by which you adopt federalisms. One is many federating units coming together and form a federations. For example, they are in the United States of America. There the power of the states or the constituents units a little more compared to the power of the federal governments. The second process is that it is one country and you devolve the powers. For example, here in India, where it was one country but you devolve the powers, so the power of the union government is comparatively higher than the constituent units. So what are the non-negotiables under federal form of government? You have to have at least two orders of government. And each levels of government must have a legislative and executive powers. They must have a direct relationship with the citizens, which means if it is a two orders of government, there will be two elections. One for the federal government, another for the regional government. And there has to be a constitutions under federal form of governments. And this constitution has to be very, very rigid, which means if you have to change the constitutions, you have to have at least 2/3 of the majorities there in your parliament. The constitutions is not an static constitutions, it actually evolves over a period of time. So the federalisms also evolve over a period of time. The courts are also very, very important under federal form of governments. If any kind of conflict arises, the courts are there to interpret the provision of the constitutions. Towards the end, I just wanted to say that federalism is not just an institutional concept, it's a functional concept. It works better under deepened democracy, where the institution of democracy are strong. If you just wanted to summarize, federalism is a time-tested way of governance in a number of countries with a diverse groups. There would be a direct democracy under federalisms. The minorities get home rule, and there would be a tolerance in the federal form of government. No two federations are identical, and there would be unity under diversity.